Welcome to the Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? It's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to another episode of The Spread. I'm your host, Jim Sella. The Pittsburgh Steelers are off this week as it's wild card weekend here in the NFL, and they are one of two teams in the AFC with the bye week. The other is the New England Patriots. New England number 1 seed, Pittsburgh number 2 seed. Get to rest a little bit, let Antonio Brown heal up, let Le'Veon Bell rest a little bit, let Big Ben rest those old man knees a little bit. I know none of those guys played in the Cleveland game this past week, so some people were worried about rust. I'd rather have a little bit of rust than have everybody out. And no, I don't want rust, obviously, but if you come out rusty on the first drive or second drive maybe, but then play to your potential the rest of the game, isn't that a lot better than not having any of those guys out there? But all these people were complaining, too much time off. I get it. I see where they're coming from. I'm not saying they're totally wrong. Just saying. Rather have a little bit of rust than my knee blown out. But the big story really is, can Antonio Brown get back for this offense? I know Juju and Martavis Bryant filled in pretty good for Brown in the last 2.5 games, I guess it really was, because Brown got hurt about halfway through that game. Especially Juju last week with that big game against Cleveland. Had that big kickoff return too, 96-yard touchdown. The offense is really humming, and if they get Antonio Brown back and this offensive line is healthy, you got a healthy Le'Veon Bell, it's scary, man. I don't care who you are. If you have to play the Steelers at home right now, you got to be worried about this offense. They're outside of last week, with all the backups in, they're averaging 30 points per game since the bye week. The offense in the second half of this year has really just stepped it up. Early in the season, it was defense and run game. About halfway through the year, the offense started picking it up. The passing game started picking it up. Unfortunately, Ryan Shazier had got hurt in Week 13 against the Bengals. The Steelers' defense went from giving up somewhere around 96 yards a game on the ground to giving up somewhere around 133 yards on the ground. That's not good. That could come back to haunt the Steelers. The Chiefs, Jaguars, Bills, and Titans all play well on the ground. All 4 teams run the ball well. The Bills and the Jags, the only 2 teams in the league to not throw the ball more than they ran it. The Bills ran the ball a few more times than they threw it. The Jags were dead even. The Chiefs with Kareem Hunt, I mean, they can run the ball with the best of them. And I know DeMarco Murray's hurt in Tennessee, but Henry can definitely fill in for them and have a good game. You know the Bills won't be going. The Bills will go to New England. The Steelers are going to face the highest remaining seed. So it'll either be the Jags, Chiefs, or Titans. But you don't want to give up a lot of yards on the ground to any of those teams. That's how the Jaguars beat them the first time, quite honestly. And if the Chiefs can do it, Alex Smith almost never turns the ball over. So when they're running the ball well and he doesn't turn the ball over, it's really hard to beat them. That's why it's so important to get off to a good start in the playoffs. That's why it was important for the Steelers to try to get a bye week and a home game, because their defense is not struggling because they're still winning football games and they're still making big plays, but they're not at that same caliber they were before Ryan Shazier went out. The good news is WPXI has reported that Ryan Shazier does have some feeling back in his legs. They're not really releasing a whole lot of information. Shazier has asked for privacy, but his dad did confirm that he is getting that feeling back in his legs, and that's a good sign. That's the first step towards recovery, so it'll be good to see Ryan whenever he can get back on his feet and see him walking again. Not that I'm actually going to see him, not that I know him. It'll just be good to see it on TV or on the internet or wherever the hell it's going to happen. But I just want to see the dude walk again, poor bastard. Now, I know Big Ben is basically on record as saying he would prefer to play the Jaguars. That's a little skewed. That report was a little fake news, I guess you really want to call it. Big Ben just said he would like to see the Jaguars again because he wants redemption. Anybody that's a competitor at Roethlisberger's level, having one of the worst games of his career against the Jaguars earlier this year, you want that redemption. I mean, you would love to see them come in and be able to put it on them and show people that it was a fluke. It was just a bad game. Everybody has an off week. But at the same time, the Jaguars have beat the Steelers twice at home before, one of them coming in a playoff game. And although it was a little controversial in that game, too, there was a call at the end of the game that should have been called. The refs missed it, a holding call. It should have been called on Jacksonville. David Garrard was able to convert. It was either a third down or fourth down, and that was pretty much it. Jags sealed the victory. Pittsburgh fans, sour taste in their mouth. The Yinzer crowd was not happy. But Chiefs, Titans, Jags all run the ball well, all play pretty similar football. The Steelers did blow out the Tennessee Titans this year. That game really wasn't even close. Marcus Mariota, I believe he had somewhere around 4 interceptions in that game, probably one of the worst games of his career. The Steelers also beat the Chiefs 19-13 in Week 6 of this season, so they beat 2 of these 4 teams, lost to the Jaguars, and have not played the Bills. But again, they're not going to play the Bills because if they would win, that seed goes to New England automatically. So of the 3 teams that they could play, beat 2, lost to 1, I don't know. Do you want to play the teams that you beat that want redemption against you, or do you want to play the team that you lost to that you want redemption? I really don't know. Fans, let me know what you think. Hit us up on Twitter, bet_the_spread. Hit me up on Twitter at betjimtowin. Check out the Facebook page at facebook.com/betthespread. Comment down below. Anything. Tell your friends. Let them know. Who the hell do you want to play? We want to know. We want to start a Facebook poll if I really cared about Facebook, but I'd rather you just comment because that's less work for me. As a Steeler fan, I am going to say I want to play the Jaguars because I want that redemption. As more, not that I'm a football analyst, but as looking at it more from that angle, I want to play the Titans. You mop the floor with the Titans. Marcus Mariota, definitely, I guess unproven. He's unproven at this stage of his career, right? He's still young. He had a decent rookie year, got hurt, came back, has had an okay year this year. Not something glamorous, but I don't want to play the Chiefs twice. I feel like Andy Reid's one of those guys that'll get you if you do that. And I don't really... Man, the Jaguars' defense is just so good. Do you really want to play them again? I mean, honestly. Before Ryan Shazier went down, it was the Steelers' defense and the Jags' defense, to me, is the top 2 in the AFC, maybe in the whole league. So, I don't know if I want to play them again. So yeah, for me, I want to play Tennessee. They were only 9-7, got in as the 5th seed, did not win their division. Jaguars won that division, so man, that's who I want to play. Honestly, I think the Steelers could do very similar to Marcus Mariota. Mike Mularkey, I guess, is probably the least experienced. I don't know how I want to say it. Mike Mularkey is probably the worst coach out of the bunch. Obviously, Andy Reid's a lot better. I know Jacksonville doesn't have a great coach, but they do have Tom Coughlin in that organization who's kind of guiding everybody along. So that's definitely, in their pocket. Mularkey, yeah, he knows Pittsburgh. He was an offensive coordinator here, but at the same time, he hasn't really lived up to the bill as far as head coaching goes. So I'm picking the Titans as far as who I want the Steelers to have to play as an analyst. But again, at the same time, I want to see them beat the hell out of the Jaguars for what they did to us earlier in the year. But let's see. Let's say we're going to run through this real quick. We're going to start with the NFC. Falcons at Rams. Falcons are choke artists. Rams, good young up-and-coming team. I think the Rams can take that at home. The NFC other game is Panthers at Saints. Panthers up and down all year. Cam Newton up and down all year. Saints might actually have the offensive and defensive rookie of the year. First time that's happened in probably over 50 years. I know the Panthers have a pretty strong running game with some pretty strong running backs too, but Saints at home over Panthers. I think New Orleans wins 3 times against Carolina this year. So let's see, that puts the Rams at the Vikings and the Saints at the Eagles. I think the Saints can beat the Eagles. Eagles no quarterback, that's pretty easy. Nick Foles, I'll take Breeze over Foles any day, even if it's in Philadelphia. Rams at Vikings. I think the Vikings can win that game at home over I might have called them St. Louis at one point. Sorry if I did. The LA Rams. So that puts the Vikings and the Saints in the NFC Championship game. It would be at Minnesota. I will take New Orleans in that game. I'll take Breeze over Case Keenum any day, even with that Vikings defense. So that puts the Saints in the Super Bowl for the NFC. Here in the AFC, I'm going to take... man. I'll take the Bills over the Jags. I don't know why. I just feel like the Bills can pull it out. I don't know why, honestly. I think the Jaguars are a little bit on a slippery slope, and I know the Bills kind of snuck in there, but at the same time, I think they can pull it out. I think they'll end up going up to Foxborough and getting beat down by the Patriots, quite honestly. But I think that the Chiefs will win at home against the Titans, so that sends Buffalo to New England, Kansas City to Pittsburgh. Steelers Chiefs, Pittsburgh already beat them, like I said earlier, 19-13. That's going to be a tough game. Andy Reid, good coach. Alex Smith, not a terrible quarterback. Kareem Hunt, great running back. Pretty decent defense. I think Pittsburgh would squeak one out again. I don't think it would be a blowout. So you would see Pittsburgh and New England in the AFC Championship game. Because, come on, Buffalo at New England, that's a joke. We all know who's going to win that game. So that puts Pittsburgh at New England. My heart of hearts wants to pick Pittsburgh. And I'm going to do it because I just think they're the better football team. I know New England's still a good football team. I know they still have Tom Brady. But at the same time, I think Pittsburgh has a more well-rounded offense and definitely has a better defense. I think they're kind of over that stigma. The game would have been a lot different last year had the Steelers been healthy. I know the Patriots weren't healthy as well. They didn't have Rob Gronkowski, who torched the Steelers in the last drive of the game earlier this year. Not saying the Steelers will blow them out. I think it'll be a really close game. It'll probably come down to the last drive, as it basically did in the game this season. So I'm going to say Pittsburgh can win it in a late drive, and I think Big Ben finally gets that New England stigma off his back. I think he'll drive Pittsburgh down the field, seal the deal, win the game, send them to the Super Bowl, and you will have a Pittsburgh-New Orleans Super Bowl. I will not give you the winner of that game now. You will have to wait and tune into the Super Bowl episode whenever it airs. So a little teaser there. But again, as I said, fans, questions, comments, hit us up on Twitter, bet_the_spread. Hit me up on Twitter, @BetJimTheWin. Check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/betthespread. Comment below. Tell me who you think's going to win. Let me know what playoff bracket you have going. Get your friends to let me know. Get your grandma to let me know. Tell everybody you know to let me know because I want to know. Everybody want to know.